Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be reviewing The Princess and Scoundrel by Beth Revis. This is one of the newest Star Wars books that came out. And as the title implies and the front cover, this book is about Princess Leia and Han Solo. Specifically, this book actually covers their wedding in the immediate aftermath of Return of the Jedi, and basically their honeymoon, so their early days of being a married couple. Found this book to be more interesting than I was expecting. I wasn't sure if it'd be really for me. I thought it might be more of a romance book and not as much heavy on the typical Star Wars stuff that I like. And there definitely is romance. You're getting a lot of Han and Leia's relationship, but there are a lot of elements of the storyline that I really enjoyed a lot. One thing I'll say straight off is the author did a great job of incorporating a lot of funny one-liners throughout the book. I think one thing that people always loved about Han and Leia's relationship in the Star Wars movies, and I think a lot of books afterwards, is this had so many great one-liners with each other in the relationship. There was a certain edge to it, and they would joke around with each other a lot, and that's here definitely in this book. You also have, especially at the early part of the book, C-3PO is there, and him and Han have some great interactions, and there was a few times in this book that I laughed out loud. So really love the humor aspect of it. There are also parts of the book that brought up things about Star Wars that honestly I'd never thought of before, and I kind of really appreciate that because that doesn't really happen a whole lot. So one example of that is how Han is kind of coming to grasp in the immediate aftermath of the Return of the Jedi of him coming out on carbonite, because that gets very easy to forget by the end of the movie. As he kind of mentions, he's basically only been unfrozen for like a week or two, and suddenly the war is over, but he's missing like a year of his life, and there's all these things that Leia, Chewie, Luke, all these other people are referencing, and he was like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. And he's like, oh, sorry, that happened when you were frozen in carbonite. So I think a lot of times at the end of Return of the Jedi, it's very easy to forget, like, hey, this guy just came out of being frozen for a solid year, and he's just kind of being thrust back out in the world and how that would impact you. So I thought the book did a really great job of kind of exploring that. Instead of it's ignoring it throughout the book, that's brought up that he's still coming to grips. He's kind of dealing with that trauma that event caused him, and really trying to figure out how to come to grips with that huge event in his life. At the same time, dealing with the end of the war, getting married. It's a lot going on for Han, a lot going on for Leia as well, because throughout the book she's also dealing with coming to grips with what Luke has informed her, and that she realized was true, that Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker was her father, and that's something she's really dealing with. But also kind of coming to grips with the fact that she understands that she does have some connection to the Force, and trying to figure out what her path is going to be. Is she going to be a Jedi, or is she going to stay a political leader? What is she going to be all about? So it's kind of a lot of Han and Leia kind of trying to figure out what their future is post-rebellion. And not just in regard as a couple, but as what are they going to be? They've been rebels for so long. What's next for them? The wedding, which I think a lot of people were probably the thing that got them excited about buying this book. It's like, oh, this book is going to be the wedding of Han and Leia. How cool is that? I thought they did it a really neat way. It was a very kind of low-key ceremony. It happens on the Forest Moon of Endor. This is very early in the book, so it's not a spoiler, but how they handled it and incorporated various characters within the Star Wars universe who were there at Return of the Jedi, I thought was very clever, and I really enjoyed it. The bulk of the book kind of covers their honeymoon. They're basically put on a cruise as their honeymoon, is kind of to kind of force Leia into taking a vacation. Mon Mothma really is like, Leia, you need to take a break. Leia doesn't want to, but she's basically forced to go on a honeymoon, and she's able to convince Leia to do it. It's like, this is a good PR thing for the New Republic / Rebellion, that some sort of peace and normalcy is coming back to the universe again, and you can be the face of that and show people we can get back to the positive things. We can get back to celebrating love and getting married and going on a honeymoon again. But of course, being Star Wars, being at Han and Leia, they can't go on a cruise without some stuff happening that they have to get involved with. I'm not going to get into too much details of that because I think that does get to more of the plot points that I don't want to spoil. But it's a very interesting storyline. Definitely shows you what the rebellion was facing and dealing with in the aftermath of Return of the Jedi, when the Empire's been defeated, but there are still remnants of the Empire out there, and a lot of the Imperial forces at this point are still not acknowledging that anything's changed. They still firmly believe we're in charge, you're still the rebellion, deal with it. And so this is kind of this gray period where nobody's really sure who's in charge, there's some anarchy going on, and it's kind of fascinating. So I really enjoyed how this book, is exploring these personal relationships between Han and Leia, how they are developing as characters, as people, as individuals in the aftermath of getting married, traumatic events like being frozen in carbonite for a year, finding out your dad was responsible for torturing you and destroying countless lives, helping destroy your home planet, and at the same time your identity's been wrapped up in this rebellion for so long, and now the rebellion's over. What's next? Really found this book very interesting. Explored a lot of cool concepts that I really enjoyed. So I definitely recommend, if you're a big fan of the original Star Wars movies and you typically don't read a lot of Star Wars books, I think this is a book you'll really enjoy, because it does really feel like, oh, Return of the Jedi, the credits hit, and this book picks up immediately. So I think if you like the original movies, typically don't read books, I think you'll really enjoy this. If you're a big Star Wars book fan, I think you'll really enjoy this as well. I have a feeling that this might be a good way to get some movie fans to read a Star Wars book who normally don't read a Star Wars book. But anyway, hope you enjoyed my review. Let me know in the comment section below if you've read The Princess and the Scoundrel, what you thought of the book, what were your favorite parts, or the parts you didn't enjoy. Hope you liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you have yet, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support. Happy reading. I'll see you the next time, and may the Force be with you.